What is going on, guys? This weekend is UFC 307, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. And I'm going to be doing my official UFC 307 early predictions video. Starting off with our early prelim opener of McGee versus Tim Means, the Dirty Bird. Such a banger matchup here. Not. So here we pretty much have two old guys who were never really that good. Both of them need to retire, if I'm being honest. They both look like shit in their last few fights. So, the tape study on this one was really fun. For my official prediction, I'll be going... Again, with fights like this, it's kind of hard to pick, but I'm going to pick Tim Means. I think he's going to win via decision. McGee's just not good. Tim Means is better striking. He's got better grappling. McGee does have decent jiu-jitsu. And surprisingly, just looking at him, it looks like McGee's older, but actually Tim Means is older. But I think he has the speed advantage, even though he's, 2 years older than McGee. McGee does have the power advantage, though. So, if, McGee could win it, he could clip Tim Means and put him away. And that's, kind of what I was afraid of going with Tim Means. But McGee's just looks so bad in his last few fights. He looks so sluggish, so slow, so sloppy on the feet. Almost looks lost out there. So, not a very good early prelim opener. Moving on up the card. Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington. Now, kind of feel bad here for Carla Esparza. She has said this is going to be her last fight. She's retiring after this fight, win, lose, or draw. And she's on the early prelims, second fight in. And she's a 2-time strawweight champion. So I do kind of feel bad for her. And especially in her last few fights, she's just not looking very good. I had to watch that crappy fight with her and Rose, where she just keeps saying, I am the best, I am the best, as she does nothing the whole time. It is a terrible fight. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. So for my official prediction, I'll be going Tisha Pennington via decision. Could she get a finish? Yes. I think Esparza will be able to hold out all 3 rounds, but I think it's just going to be Tisha marching forward, being aggressive. That tends to be her fight style. She definitely has the power advantage. Esparza does have the wrestling advantage. So don't be surprised if she is able to out-grapple her and win a very boring decision. But, this is going to be her retirement fight. This is her last fight. I don't think, she's all there in her head. Or Pennington, her wife is the champion of bantamweight. Maybe that's kind of sparked her, she wants to go for something at strawweight. But yeah, this is definitely not going to be a fun fight to watch. So, but again, we'll see what happens. Moving on. Ryan Spann versus Ovince St. Preux. I wish do they have their age on here? They do not. I wish they had their age on here. I believe OSP is 41 and Ryan Spann's 33. So a pretty big age discrepancy. Ryan Spann's not good. He's just not good. If this was... I want to pick OSP, but he's 41. And I know I just picked a 41-year-old Tim Means over McGee. But they're closer in age. I'm going Ryan Spann, first round KO. Either Ryan Spann wins via first round KO, or he's going to get beat for probably 3 rounds by OSP. I just can't pick him. He's too old. I think OSP is probably the more well-rounded mixed martial artist. I know Ryan Spann does have some submissions. He's got a good guillotine. But I just can't pick a 41-year-old OSP to win. But again, don't be surprised if he does, because Ryan Spann is not good. He is not good at all. Moving on up the card, the early prelims are just not very good. This, once you get up towards the top, it's better, but these fights were not fun to do tape study on. Let me tell you that right now. But we're getting closer to a good fight. This should be a decent fight. You have Cesar Almeida versus Potieria. Cesar Almeida's last fight, although he lost, was a very exciting fight. Same with the Potieria. That crazy fight with Michel Pereira at, I believe it was UFC 301 in Brazil. This was a tricky one for me to pick. Because Cesar Almeida is old. I believe he's 36 years old. Potieria is younger. But he's not good. He's not good. He's 2-4 in the UFC. He's okay at grappling. But I don't think he has good enough grappling to be able to out-grapple Almeida. You know, Almeida showed somewhat takedown defense in his last fight. Like, he was taken down and controlled a lot. But he did show a little bit of ability. And I think Roman Kopylov would absolutely demolish Potieria. So for my official prediction, I'm going to be going Cesar Almeida. Late first round, early second round KO TKO. And then I think after that, Potieria is going to get cut from the UFC, most likely. Moving up, Marina Rodriguez versus Lucindo. This was a tricky one because Marina Rodriguez is an older veteran. Lucindo, young, I believe she's 22 years old. Young, up-and-coming prospect. Lucindo I'm giving her the power advantage for sure. Rodriguez, I think she has the more technical striking advantage, but for my official prediction, I'm going to go on Marina Rodriguez via decision. And this was tough for me to pick because when I first saw this fight, I wanted to go with the younger fighter. She's younger, she's up and coming, she's growing. Where Marina Rodriguez doesn't seem to be, improving all that much in between these past few fights. The main reason when I went and looked at the resumes that I'm going with Rodriguez has only lost to elite level competition in her weight class. Lucindo has lost to some bad fighters. So I think how this fight's going to go is Rodriguez is going to be able to keep her jab in Lucindo's face, keep her at the distance, circle out when Lucindo comes in with those big, crazy power shots like she was doing in her last fight. And I think she'll be able to pretty much keep away from the clinch and keep away from her big power shots and win via decision. Moving up on the card, we have wrong one there. We do have Stephen Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. This was a very tricky fight. For my official prediction, I will be going Joaquin Buckley via decision. I know I've been saying that about just about every damn fight on this card, but honestly, a lot of these fights on this card are a difficult pick. Probably out of all the fights on this card, this is the one that I did the most tape study on. It's just the most difficult fight for me to pick on this card. The reason I'm picking Buckley, though, he's younger. Wonder Boy's 41 years old. I wanted to pick, he's either 40 or 41, I can't remember. I wanted to pick Wonder Boy. I think Wonder Boy is a more technical kickboxer. He's got that funky karate style. I went back and watched Buckley's last fight. I was at that fight live. And I remember watching that fight live and thinking it was a lot more the first round because Ruziboyev has that. He's got that long reach and he's very tall. The first round was a very closer than I thought it was. And I feel like in this fight, Buckley is definitely going to grapple. I think if you go, I don't know if he still has it, but he uploaded a picture on his Instagram where he has the, whatever the hell that thing's called, that Habib wears in Umar. I can't remember what it's called, but the big white wig, and Merab wears one as well. But he was wearing one of those. Like, I don't think Buckley's stupid in where he knows that the best way for him to win this fight is out grappling Thompson, getting him down and holding him. I don't think he'll be able to finish him. If he can get him down, I don't think he's gonna be able to submit him. It is possible that he could TKO Stephen Thompson on the ground, but do not be surprised if Thompson can stuff the takedowns and win the fight. Because Buckley is a decent grappler, but he's not an elite grappler by any means. Thompson's getting out-grappled by elite-level grapplers. So, like, in his last fight against Shavkat, I went back and rewatched that fight. Any exchange that happened that was on the feet, Thompson was landing the better shots. If you go back in that fight, take out the grappling, Thompson was winning that fight. But he was severely out-grappled and eventually submitted for the first time. So, again, I think, the youth advantage and the power advantage might make Thompson be exposed to getting taken down. And I think that's probably the way Buckley will win. But, I would love for Stephen Thompson to win. I understand Buckley's young, up-and-coming prospect, and Thompson's kind of old. But I love Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. It's one of my favorite fighters to watch. I love watching him move in with the blitz and hit people up. It's fun to watch. But anyway, moving on to the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view main card opener. Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. What a weird fight. Both of them kind of jumping back and forth between divisions. Mainly Kevin Holland going from middleweight, dropped down to welterweight, competed a bunch of welterweight. Now fighting at middleweight again. And although I like Kevin Holland, all his fights are usually fairly exciting, I do think it is kind of weird that he wins, loses, but he always seems to get things in his favor. Excuse me. He got that main event with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, which he lost. After he lost that, he got a fight with Luque, which got him into Michael Chiesa, which got him into the rankings. I think I'm remembering that correctly. I'm going to hit myself in the ass if I'm not remembering that correctly. Anyway, he seems to be always getting favorable treatment as far as fighting ranked opponents when he doesn't deserve it. But anyway, this was kind of a weird fight to watch and predict, to go over the tape study for this. But for my official prediction, I'll be going Kevin Holland via decision. Roman Dolidze is old. I believe he's 36 years old. He does have some good kicks, so I think that would be a good way for him to go up on winning this fight, chop Kevin Holland's legs. And then if he can get Kevin Holland down, I definitely think he would have the advantage on the ground. Obviously, he kind of surprised everybody when he beat Jack Hermanson. I do give Holland the speed advantage, and I want to lean him with the power advantage as well. He does have, both of them have good power, but Kevin Holland has sparked people out. So, including a win over Buckley, who's also fighting on this card. But I think Kevin Holland will be faster on the feet. He'll be able to move out of the way of Roman Dolidze. I believe Dolidze is significantly slower than Kevin Holland. He'll be able to keep it standing, land the better shots. And as I said before, I think if he gets on the ground, he's probably fucked. But anyway, moving on. Up the card, Ketlen Vieira versus Kayla Harrison. Honestly, I was kind of shocked that they didn't just throw her in a title shot. Instead of, they give Juliana Pena the title shot. Honestly, kind of surprised that they didn't throw Kayla Harrison a title shot after her win over Holly Holm. But, nonetheless, this one was pretty easy. I'm going Kayla Harrison via second round TKO. I think the first round, she's going to kind of figure out Ketlen Vieira. And I think second round, she'll get her clinched up. She'll throw her to the ground, use her, judo background. And she's probably going to get a TKO, KO from mount position. Either mount or maybe she's got her arm pinned down, almost like a crucifix position with her legs. She just has a better power advantage. I believe she has the jiu-jitsu advantage and the advantage to take Ketlen Vieira down. Ketlen Vieira, she's been around for a while. She's okay, she's not a complete bum, but what can you say about this fight? Kayla Harrison's she's going to smash her. She's going to smash Ketlen Vieira. and then fight the winner of the co-main event. Don't really have much else to say on this one. Moving on. Great fight right here. What I want to see, let's go back real quick. Show the rankings. Jose Aldo's 10, Mario Bautista's 11. We have Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. When I initially saw this announcement for this fight, I immediately thought, Mario Bautista, easy. No brainer. I went back. I went over, watched their last few fights. I went over, who they've won to and who they lost to. For my official prediction, I'm going Jose Aldo via decision. I don't think I'll be able to finish Bautista. Now, I'm not saying Mario Bautista can't win. I think his most likely path to victory is going to be via KO, TKO. And I know Jose Aldo's old. He's 38 years old. Mario Bautista's young. The reason I'm picking Aldo is that experience he's got. And, in his last fight, he's shown he still has fight in him. He still has some gas in the tank. He still has good power. He still has good boxing. He doesn't use his kicks as much, which I don't think I think he'll primarily just be using his boxing in this fight and mixing the kicks lightly. But I think I'll be able to outbox Mario Bautista. I went back and in Mario Bautista's last fight against Ricky Simón, he was getting tagged in that fight. Even though he won, clearly, he was still getting tagged by Ricky Simón. And I think Jose Aldo would beat Ricky Simón probably quite easily right now. So yeah, I think this should be a good fight. Jose Aldo gets a win here. If he doesn't retire and he wants to keep fighting and make another run for the belt, because currently, Merab does have a win over him, I think they need to throw him someone in the top 5 for sure. Honestly, that might be a cool return fight if Bautista for O'Malley, because O'Malley's going to get that surgery. I know I said in the past O'Malley should fight Henry Cejudo, but if Jose Aldo gets a win here and O'Malley gets surgery, sometime next year, this would be a great fight for Aldo to try to get a title shot if he gets a win over Sean O'Malley. Anyway, Aldo via decision. I think I'll be able to outbox Mario Bautista. Moving on. Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena. What a barn burner this is going to be here. 2 elite level strikers in their division. Oh. I'm going Pena via decision. Or Pena. I'm going Pennington via decision. I'm not going Pena. So this is how I think the fight's going to happen. Juliana Pena is going to charge forward, throwing sloppy strikes. And similar to the Amanda Nunes fight, she's just going to get the dog shit beat out of her. Now, if somehow if Pena can get it to the ground, I definitely think she'll have the BJJ advantage. And if she can get it there, but she has terrible takedown entries. It's just sloppy charging forward and trying to get a takedown. Now, one possible scenario where I think Juliana Pena could win, she does not quit. I will give her that. She will not quit. She got the dog shit beat out of her by Amanda Nunes in the rematch for 5 straight rounds. And she kept going forward. So what I could see possibly happening in this fight is, Juliana Pena's get the dog shit beat out of her for, 3 to 4 rounds. And then in the late 4th round or 5th round, Pennington is just tired, exhausted from nonstop Juliana Pena in her face and just pummeling her with punches over and over again. And she gets too tired and Pena is able to finish her. I think that is a legitimate path that fight could go down. But I think it is very unlikely. So we will move on to the main event. Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree. Now, do I think Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev would have been more exciting? Yes. Are we probably, more than likely, going to see another highlight reel KO for Alex Pereira? Yes. That is my official prediction. I'm going Alex Pereira via 2nd round KO. I think the first round is going to be figuring out Khalil Rountree. Getting his timing, figuring out, what shot's going to be the best for him to land. He'll be going back and forth. It's going to be, essentially, this is going to be a kickboxing match. And Alex Pereira is a very high-level kickboxer. Rountree said in an interview that he's not going to shoot one takedown. if you go back and look at Khalil Rountree, he doesn't have any good wins. He's coming off a win of Anthony Smith, who's old and needs to retire. I think he's like 35 or 34. Anthony Smith is at this point. He's just showing up for paychecks, honestly. Now, obviously anything could happen. Khalil Rountree could land something and knock Alex Pereira out. I think that's the only way that Rountree could get a victory here is by knockout. I think Alex Pereira's going to smash him. Rountree has no good wins. Let's go. We're going to go look at his last few fights real quick. If it will load. Let's look at his last few fights. Beats Anthony Smith in the third round via KO. Makes him do a spin-a-rooney. Before that, knocks out Chris Daukaus in the first round, who hasn't done that. Chris Daukaus moving down from heavyweight to light heavyweight. Tough opponent for your light heavyweight debut. Before that, beats Justin Jacoby via split decision. Honestly, it was a very close competitive fight. And I think Justin Jacoby just fell out of the rankings. So, and then you got Modestas Bukauskas. And I can't remember this guy's name. But pretty much essentially two bums in the light heavyweight division. None of these win. Now, I understand Ankalaev doesn't have the best wins either, but he has better wins than this. So, yeah. Essentially, we're giving Alex Pereira a free win, which is fine. I think it's going to be a fun, exciting fight. And I can't wait for Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev next. Again, if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Let me know who do you think is going to win in the main event here. Leave a like on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.